the last paper of the day by Brahmachari Ezhivannan ji. He is a scholar from Chinmaya Vishwavidyapeeth. He is going to be. It's a very good paper. It's an empirical study on the syllabi of on the curriculum of the Tamilnadu State Board from the point of view of value education based on Indic knowledge systems. So, how Ramayana content has helped the Tamilnadu State Board. Ezhivannan ji, over to you.
Ariom ji, namaste. Can I have the permission to start my video?
Yeah, please.
You cannot start your video. Yes, start. Yes, now I am visible. I will quickly finish in 10 minutes time. I understand this is the last presentation.
Yeah, but you are very good at consolidating all the points.
Absolutely. Yes.
Summarizing. You are a teacher, experienced teacher, so thank you.
Yes, Dr. So let me introduce myself. Since this is my first presentation as a full-time PhD scholar at Chinmaya Vishwavidyapeeth, I was a microbiologist, BSc microbiology, MSc microbiology from Madras University, and then PhD from Delhi University. I was a junior research fellow 4 years. Then I joined Sandipani Sadhanalaya Vedanta course studied under Swami Ezhivannan ji. So now I am serving at Chinmaya International Foundation last 7 years, helping in publications, helped in Brahma Sutra commentary and some Vedanta courses, Upanishad course, Bhagavad Gita course, creations, and then also involved in teaching value education classes at the Chinmaya Vidyalayas. So with that background, now this is as part of my PhD coursework. I have done this research. So so I'll go to next slide. Next slide. So here, yes. So the objective of my research is to check for the references of the words, themes, concepts, songs, and stories from Ramayana in the textbooks of Tamilnadu State Board from Standard 1 to +2. So the methodology is content analysis of the textbooks. So I thank my guide, Dr. L. Sampath Kumar and Dr. Subbarao Jayanti for guiding this research work. What is education? So this book was released during the 50th year celebration of our Chinmaya Vidyalaya. So manifesting divinity, where we find this quote by Swami Chinmayanand ji, training the mind is the essence of education. So he mentioned in 1965 during the foundation of the Chinmaya Vidya school at Kerala. So the children, for them, this 4 is very essential. Integrated development that includes the physical, mental, intellectual, and spiritual development, and then universal outlook, patriotism, and Indian culture. So I'm quickly going. So this, what is education? So we all know very well. It's about child development and literacy, and then knowledge, skill, values, and then awareness about surrounding social, political, overall development. Now, value education is an inherent component of education. Why? Because student, we know, disrespect teachers, students carrying weapons, and governments also spend billions procuring arms and ammunition. So our my Acharya Swami Ezhivannan ji, he mentioned this thing: guided missiles in the hands of misguided minds. So we find that thing. So that's why value-based education, it helps the nation to fight against all prevailing fanaticism, ill will, violence, dishonesty, corruption, exploitation, drug abuse. So value education is a core component of quality education. So to healthy society with the strong bonds of cultural, geographical, linguistic, religious, and social. So this picture I find from our Tamil Nadu textbook, as I completed my school education in Tamil Nadu from Thiruvannamalai district of Ramana Maharishi and near Kanchipuram. So I have taken up this complete study from matriculation schools of Tamil Nadu as well as the state boards. So this picture also mentions the Indian knowledge systems. So the Gurukulam, So very interesting, we find in the social science book. Now about the curriculum and the textbooks. So our national level, there is a national curriculum framework now, and by the NCERT, they set the guidelines, direction for the development of syllabi and textbooks, and emphasis on ethical development, inculcating values, attitudes, and skills required for living in harmony with oneself and with others. So interestingly, education is still in the concurrent list. So each state government make their books, and the national education policy. This we find this all these pictures I picked from the textbooks. Last year only it was released. So they mentioned about national education policy. So now the 2022 we have that thing. And 15 years back, there is a committee on the Central Advisory Board of Education, which also says it is to strengthen mechanisms of monitoring textbook content and propose measures. So a lot of planning is required. Now, what is the Tamilnadu government says? It also says education is for the all-round development. So the curriculum and evaluation procedures is constantly need to be upgraded. Now, Indian knowledge systems is a fountainhead of Indian culture, and it is arose out of intellectual discussion, scientific and cultural innovation. I know. So this Indic Academy is doing wonderful work as an NGO. We Chinmaya Mission also involved. So several scholars like Nagaraj Paturji, the Oneness Conference, they are organized at our place, Chinmaya International Foundation, where I volunteered myself also. So greatly inspired by this knowledge repository. But temporary pause in our education system, maybe we can say around 50 years. So these Idihasas, Puranas, our great literatures, so invaluable wealth of India. And there are many doctoral research studies on Ramayana, on the concepts of value education, so focusing on a good curriculum and pedagogy to inculcate cultural, ethical, and spiritual values. So we find the ministers, education ministers, suggesting that Ramayana, Mahabharata should be taken up, it should be included in our curriculum. So from Shodhaganga, if we Google search it, more than 50 PhD theses on there. But the interesting thing is, what is happening with those data? All those researchers, are there thing implemented in our textbooks? Are our children studying in our textbooks? So that's what this aim. So this I have taken up from this first edition of 2018, based on this is 2005. Now again we have to rework. So now here is the result. The first standard book mentions the name of Ram, Raghav, Raghu by grace. So second, third, fourth, fifth standard. So I have gone through all the textbooks. There is no Ramayana word, anything related to that. And though the values are there, the stories in sixth standard book, we got the name Ramayana. The children get to know about Ramayana as a religious literature. And also as part of Idihasas, Ramayana and Mahabharata, Smriti, these terms are introduced to the children. And then, so the Pallava rulers, 1500 years back, they promoted, they were the patron of the Ram's stories during their time, sang by the Alvas, 12 great saints. So these informations we find in the book. And the seventh standard, when we go, so we find the Ramayanam written by Kamba Chakra, Kavi Chakra, around 1,000 songs, 10,000 songs. So that is as information available for the 7th standard student. And then Kamba Ramayanam is a great literary work that we find. The Chola rulers also. So in the temple, so we find the paintings of stories of Ramayana. So we inform the children's. So these were available 500 years before, 1,000 years before. And so this now we are informing to our children in our textbook. And so this is about various Alvars and about Tulsidas Ji's Ramcharitmanas 500-year book before it's composed. So which is the sentiment of friendship, loyalty. And Chhatrapati Shivaji, and a great individual, by his mother were told stories about the Ramayana Mahabharata, and he became a great disciplined visionary leader, caring for his people and the whole world. Also, he learned from great masters of Ramdas Ji, Tukaram Ji. So these all are informed to our children in the 7th book, 8th, 9th standard. there is no information on anything related to Ramayana. 10th standard book, in Tamil book particularly, we have find 6 songs, one on the beauty of the river of Sarayu, and the second one on about the Koshala Desha, then third about the people. And so the meaning, it has a value, great value. So so I'm just bringing to your attention where in my paper I would like to bring out all the explanations. And then Rama's beauty, how so, and there is a Gugan, how loyalty. So that is about 5th, and then finally Kumbhakarna, deep sleep. So how they are waking up. So maximum it is focused on the literary beauty, though the value is there, but it was not told explicitly by the textbook. Now in the 11th standard, we don't find any Ramayana content. Interestingly, the 12th standard book, the Tamilnadu, which is taught to the Tamilnadu State Board schools as well as the matriculation schools. So 9 songs we find, and here we find Ramji first with the first 2 songs. It's about Guhan. So this Guhan 2 songs, how he accepted him as his 5th brother, and then we find Sabari, the Jadayu death. So so they performed the last rites to Jadayu, considering him as his own father. So that's a great value. And then 4th and 5th song, it's about Shabari, so accepting her love. So and then there are sweet words. And then the 6th and 7th song, it's about accepting the Shugriva as his friend, as his 6th brother. Then final 2 songs about Vibhishana, again compassionately, so accepting him also, his brother. So therefore, Guga, Shugriva, now you are the 7th brother. So these 9 songs of Kamba Ramayana were part of the +2 standard. So I'm here for the discussion and summary. So the 1st standard to 5th standard books, we don't find any Ramayana content, though the name is introduced in different standpoint, Ram, Raghu, so Raghu like that. The 6th standard book mentioned about the glories of Lord Rama and Rama, the paintings like that in 7th standard, about Shivaji grown up. So 10th and +2, we have a few songs. Now the discussion is in summary. So there is a Union Minister's message, and there is a CAB says there should be a continuous upgradation of good content. NEP now it says educators and school administrators regularly they should prescribe some good curriculum. So teachers everywhere also attempting and implementing value education is a modern challenge. So to create an enlightened citizens for the good of nation, we need to find and then there is a Delhi minister, he also says this thing curriculum is very essential. So finally, what is the conclusion? So there is a scope to redefine the curriculum and based on our Indic knowledge systems. So NEP also proposes, and we all know value education is very inherent in our civilization, culture, and traditions. And and the Ramayana, stories of Ramayana, and now my PhD thesis as part of this 1-year coursework. So this I have taken up, analyzed what is the content, so that now I'll be taking up for my future scope for this is, so collect the list of values mentioned by the NCERT and include the stories from Ramayana and with the various pedagogies, and teach to the various schools of Chinmaya Vidyalaya, we have under school and various other schools. And then with the psychologist, we develop a form. So here my gratitude. So Professor Mahadevanji, the first vice chancellor of our CVV, is one among the mentor who helping me, and our Dr. Nagaraj Bhattuji's session for our this last batch of PhD also was very helpful. His insights. So I express my gratitude and my salutations to our Guru, Swami Chinmayananji, and my Acharya, Swami Tejavanji. This I will come to.
Thank you very much, Ezhivannan-ji. That was also very short and crisp and beautiful, very sweet presentation. It was very, very useful study. It's an empirical study collecting from the syllabus, from the textbooks. Very good. Thank you very much.